Hello there, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Goodness LA and Co. I'd like firstly to introduce you to my co-star.
Hi guys, my name's Kerry.
And this is our first ever episode, and we just had to have our special guest today. So, no more introduction. We'll just leave the main man to introduce himself.
Hi guys, my name's Ft.Abid Karim.
My name is Goodness LA, also known as Lulu, also known as... I don't know why I always do this. But yes, I think you get the drift now. I am 29 years old, going to be the big 30 next month. Make sure you save the date and you get me a present. Date is the 28th of February. And yeah, what about you, Han?
Hi guys, my name is Kerry.
Also known as
KN. I am 20 years old and I am the youngest
of seven. And our special guest.
So obviously I introduced myself as Ft.Abid Karim. I'm also 20 years old, turning 21 in like a week. So
amazing. So today's episode, there's three of us, got two females, both from North London, and Abid, who's from South London. So we're just going to be talking about, growing up, the biggest lessons that we've learned. I would say my biggest lesson growing up is always to be yourself. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but literally when I look back, my 20s, and obviously I'm approaching a new decade next month, I just think to myself, what's one thing I've been consistent about? And one thing I can honestly say that I was consistent with is just being myself. I still have conversations with my friends that I grew up with that were like, oh, do you remember when you used to do this? Do you remember when you used to do that? So I just feel like the biggest lesson I've learned is just to be myself, to be yourself, basically. What about you, Kerry?
For me, biggest lesson I've learned is that your friends that you grow up with are not going to be your friends for life. They will not be there to support you unless there's a few people that will actually genuinely be there for you, but the large majority of people that you went to school with, you guys will drift apart, you guys will never speak again, you guys will just be preening each other on socials.
Madness.
And yeah.
And man said never speak again, just preen each other on social media.
Just keeping it real.
It is called keeping it real, so yeah, just keep it real. A bit.
I would say the biggest lesson I learned is not to follow the crowd.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because I've realised that doing that, when you don't think for yourself, when you just follow others, you end up in places you don't want to be in.
That's a good one, following the crowd. So we have, always be yourself. Okay, what was your one again?
You will lose friends over time.
You will lose friends over time. That's a good one. And a bit, don't follow the crowd. So, like I said, me and Kerry are both from North London. What would you say have you learned from the area you grew up with or this part of London? Because obviously there's this whole, back in the day, everyone's like, well, North girls are like this and South girls are like this and West London girls are like this and blah, blah, blah. Do you think, there's a stereotype, or... I'm going to ask Abid this because he's the only guy here.
No pressure.
He's the only guy here, so I think he'll be the good one to answer this. So what's your experience with girls that... From
different parts of London.
What?
From North or from South?
From North, South, wherever. Okay, let's start with the basics. So you're from South London, so that means the majority of girls that you speak to are from South London. Am I correct? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, and when you've spoken to girls from other parts of London, i.e. West London, East London, Northwest, North London, have you seen a difference or?
So I think all stereotypes are kind of based on an element of truth.
Yeah, of course.
So.
Yeah.
I would say for me, obviously I've got a platform on social media, so I also come across different people from different areas. But the South kind of stereotype is more like the kind of road chick slang kind of attitude. It's bossy, innit? Like the way they talk. That's true. I can't lie. It's true. Loud mouth, kind of. Don't give a toss.
This is not our views, by the way. This is a bit talking. Let's just put it out there.
This is what I've seen, though, innit?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what I would say is from the South. From the North, do you know what? You lots are cool, I'll be honest. You lot are cool.
We're cool, honey.
Obviously, in every part of London, there's nice areas, like poor area. Wherever it is, there's always going to be the other side of the spectrum in each area.
Yeah.
So, but I think as a whole, I haven't really heard nothing mad about North, to be honest with you.
Okay. What about you, Kerry? What's your experience with like girls from different areas where you're from, or have you experienced any of the stereotype or?
Well, for me, I feel like North girls we're cool in it, we're chill, and
Of course you'll say that.
But South girls, they're a bit more, I'd say, more rowdier, more,
They're just on it.
uptight. Yeah, literally, like they
Is
don't
that
play,
from
they
your
don't play
experience?
games. Yeah, like even because my uni's in South, and I hang around with South girls, and
You can see the
I
difference.
can tell. Yeah, big difference. Yeah,
Seriously.
definitely. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's mad.
With me, from what I've noticed, because I've from like going to different events and stuff, mingling with girls from other areas, I have just what I do have noticed that South girls are definitely more out there, like they really speak their minds more, and the things that I like, but that's what I actually like about them, because I'm just like, wow, like you're like just so unapologetic, like they're really just like, yeah,
They don't care.
they say what they want and they say it as it is, literally, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So that's what I've noticed. And yeah, in terms of childhood, does everyone have any memories in their childhood that's shaped them into the adults that they are today?
That's a good question,
Yeah.
That's kind of deep one, isn't it? I would say for me, growing up, obviously in Brixton,
Yeah.
it's a block environment. It's the typical stuff you see in like any kind of movie. Like you're a young kid and you see the elders and you ask yourself, because from a young age, I'm always asked myself questions. I've always been inquisitive about nature, and I've always asked myself like, what's life? What's it about? Just in my mind, just thinking, where do I want to be?
Sorry to interrupt. What age were you when you start asking yourself those questions, like, what's life about and all those?
7, 8 years old.
7 years old. Okay,
just like, because when you're that age, you play, you play outside with your friends in the pitch, in the field. You play football. You know what I mean. You lot go shop, sneak go shop and that, buy sweets and all that kind of stuff. So you just see everything that encompasses in your little area. Like your block is like your little world, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like when you see, you see certain man here, certain man there, and you see your friends as well, who's cool with who, and just it depends on your individual circumstances. But for me, I just saw a lot of negative activities happening, put it that way, innit?
Would you like to state some of the negative activities?
No, like I wouldn't say nothing mad, more like just kind of peer pressuring, or it's like like people I grew up with. I would say like I'd see some people get sent like chicken shop or something, like they don't have a choice. It's like take £2, go get me 4 wings and chips and come back, like those kind of things, innit?
Yeah.
Never happened to me personally, but I saw it and it's like, they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But it's like, for me, that kind of showed me like, who do I want to be around, and you know what I mean? And also my mum was a big part of it too. She kept me kind of away. She kept me away at certain times. She told me don't play out, like it's typical mum stuff, innit?
Yeah.
But I'm glad she did that, because a lot of people where, when you're from that environment, because it's a lower class environment, parents are working.
Yeah.
They're out till late.
Yeah.
They ain't got no control over what their kids are doing. They're out to, kids will be out till like 8, 7 o'clock in the evening. They're coming back, parents coming back. And it's just like that. You can't account for your kids. So for me, having my mum there, it helped me stay on the right path.
But the thing is that you're one of the lucky ones, because you actually listen to your mum. Because there's kids that have the parents around, that have the mum around, but they don't listen to them. And that's how they get into the peer pressure side of things. And
so it's funny you said that, because one of my friends that I went primary school with lived 1 floor above me, and I was the more like, as you said, the one who listened to my mum and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't a bad Jew or nothing like that, but you can, when you're from the places, you have natural habits and you're just natural tendencies, isn't it? But that my friend that I grew up with was more the opposite, like rebel, like do what I want, don't listen, attitude. And he's sitting in the can right now, so that's how that worked out.
does that mean he's in prison?
Yeah.
And what did he do then? What was his
You got manslaughter still.
manslaughter?
Yeah.
Madness. And how old was he when he went in?
He's the same age as me.
But
So that was a couple of years ago, so like 18.
My goodness. So it's fair to assume that he definitely fell under the people that got peer pressured then.
I think, there's a lot of dysfunctional families where I'm from.
Okay.
I would say, that too, but also just a part of like, when there's no dad around, there's no mum around, when you don't have a positive influence, you're kind of just left to your environment. Your environment kind of raises you, and it's just natural path for some people to just get under the influence of certain people. You always want someone to look up to you.
Yeah, it's true. But about your friend, did he have do you have his mum and dad around, or just one? Was this from a single?
So it was back and forth between each one.
But he still saw his mum, his dad then.
Yeah.
So his dad did have some kind of.
But it wasn't a thing where it was like they listened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just going against everything their parents are saying. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Kerry, do you have anything in your childhood that shaped you into the woman that you are today?
I guess
you can think of.
secondary school, you know, because I went to all-girls school, so the way we think's a bit different. I feel like if, you know, there's other girls that can relate, we're quite closed off, don't really know how to interact with people. It's not until sixth form where it was combined, where there's boys and girls, where you actually find yourself, you actually think, you have different thoughts, different ideas and stuff like that.
So hold on, let's stop there. So you're saying that you going to all girls school had a big influence on you then, basically?
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah.
Okay, so
In what way?
in what way? Yeah, in what way?
So like, it just makes you think of things like, because I saw a lot of things that happen with girls. You know how girls are with catty and
But yeah, so hold on, what was the biggest influence? The teacher, the environment, or the fact it wasn't all girls school?
all the above.
All of them put together?
Yeah.
Wow. And how old are you? Said you're 11 to 12 years old. So
Yeah,
7 or year 8?
7, yeah. So literally the start.
So as soon as you started, you know, was this your first year of secondary school?
Yeah.
So okay, so you started in new school. It's obviously, and it's weird because you went from a mixed primary school.
Yeah, so the jump was crazy.
To
I was like, what? Yeah.
girls secondary school. So obviously that had a big influence on you. And it was in
Definitely.
2 different areas as well.
Yeah.
Because your primary school was predominantly ethnic minorities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then secondary school is all
Basically white. But it was mixed at that time as well, actually, I would say. So
but it was
both.
But at the same time, compared to your primary school, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
Because your primary school was basically mainly ethnic minority.
Yeah.
Wow, this is crazy. And then, wow, was you watching a lot of movies? And what made you?
Yeah, I'm a movie head as well, so that definitely influenced me.
What movie was it in particular that influenced you? There must have been one movie that was you thought you watched and you thought, this is what I'm going through, you know? Oh my gosh, I can relate to this.
Angus Fung's and Perfect Snogging. Yeah,
I saw that one.
teenage-
I saw that
yeah.
one.
It's called Angus Fung's and Perfect Snogging, if I
think
remember.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that, but it was ages ago. I can't remember now. What was the
Years
movie
ago.
about?
She was scatty from lips not bare man.
It was literally like a coming of age type of movie with these teenage girls and just experiencing life as a teenager, basically.
But was she in the movie? Did she snog any girls?
I think it was boys,
Mainly
but
man,
mainly,
innit?
yeah.
Yeah.
But she was kind of at that time exploring, finding out about herself, kind of thing. Yeah.
And did you ever speak to anyone about this, like how you were feeling at the time or anything like that?
No, I spoke to myself.
You have a sister. You never speak to.
Yeah, but family is more judgmental, isn't it?
That's the
honest.
thing. I was
think
like,
so?
I would, if I was to tell you, I was thinking, I don't know what she's actually gonna say, because is she gonna tell mum? Is she gonna keep it to herself? Is she gonna tell other people? That's like, do you know what?
Definitely
No,
want to tell
leave
other
it.
people. Probably talk to mum because you know me and mum is my bestie. Obviously, my biggest, I think my biggest nail on the head was my father passing. My father passed away a month after my 10th birthday, and to me that was just like the biggest shock to the system, because obviously everything changed. We went from having I feel like our story went from riches to rags. Normally people go to rags to riches. Ours was the other way around, because we lost our main breadwinner, and everything changed, and it was just so much responsibilities on me. My mum, because when my dad passed away, we were hardly in the country for like 2 years. We moved to London when I was 8 years old, and my mum could barely speak English. So she had to navigate all that. She had to navigate learning the new language, running the business, because at the time we had internet cafes in Hackney. We had internet cafe and a unisex salon, and that was what my mum and dad were running at the time. And so she obviously she had a 3-month-old who is here now.
Yes, me.
Kevin. And it was just a lot. It was a lot. That was, to me, that was the biggest slap in the face. I went from living this Disney World life where, you know, your dad and mom and dad are always around. My dad used to always pick us up from primary school, used to pick us on a different car. My dad had 4 different cars. We came pick us from primary school and we went straight to Hackney to where the businesses were. My highlight was talking to all the barbers and the hairdressers and going on the internet cafe, going on MSN, talking to my friends, just literally having that, what you call that nuclear family dynamic, to now being in a household where there's a widow with children and the main breadwinner is not around. It was absolutely crazy to me. And till this day, I just don't know how my mum did it, how she navigated through all of that, through having to learn a new language, through running multiple businesses at the time, like without even knowing what she was doing. Like she was just freestyling with children, and on top of that, a whole baby, a newborn. Hats off to mums, man. Seriously, I don't know how she did it, but to me, that was my biggest thing in my childhood that shaped me. Like, you know, sometimes when I'm a mother of multiple children. Listen, if you think life is testing, try having children. Try having people that kind of look like you and want to test you at the same time.
I can't relate to that one still.
What?
Can't relate to that one.
Exactly. You think life is hard, yeah? Try having people that, you know, they look like you and they're pushing your buttons. That's what you do, yeah? And if you were ever bad to your mum and dad, stop praying, please. Like, stop praying so that none of that bad karma comes back to you with your children. Because seriously, it's a lot. But yeah, that to me, my dad passing was my biggest thing that shaped me in my childhood, because it made me into the woman that I am today.
So would you say that your mum's like your role model then? Like your inspiration type thing?
Oh my gosh, like 150%. 100, like literally, like, you know how people like, they look up to celebrities, or like, you know, I like this, literally, I always say my mum is up there. Like, even though I've got my other celebrities that I look up to, that I think, yeah, I like this. But my mum, there's no one that can beat my mum when it comes to my mum. Like, she's up there. Because I've seen her do it all. I've seen her get 2 degrees. I've seen her finish from someone that didn't even speak English. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I've seen her run businesses. I've seen her I've seen her raise children.
I think there's a lot of things that the younger generation go through that we just don't talk about.
Yeah,
It's just
just
life,
literally
innit?
keep it to ourselves.
Yeah, especially with you guys with social media and everything.
That's
like,
a big thing, yeah.
That's a big
You
thing.
see too much.
Like, let's another question I want to dive into. What's one thing you saw on social media that actually affected you recently, or even anything that you? What's the last thing you saw on social media that you thought, nah, that's actually effed, or kind of affected you?
Negatively or positively?
Could be both. Let's always start the negative. Let's start with negative.
It's interesting. Do you know what? I don't know, because it depends on everyone's, like, what you look at social media, for example, is different to what you look at.
Of course, that's
so it depends on what you're looking at, to be honest.
So that's what I'm asking you. What did you see personally to you? Nothing to do with me or her.
Yeah.
But what did you see negative that affected you negatively? You thought to yourself, nah, that's a bit effed. That's a bit, okay, what was that about? That made you kind of like, you went into your subconscious.
Do you mean like personal, or do you mean it could be anything?
It could be anything.
Okay, I mean, I think that on social media, one positive about it, but it's linked to negatives, is that it sheds light on a lot of atrocities in the world that you just don't know about, unless that it existed. Like, if there was no internet, we would know that there's a genocide here, or there's someone's getting bombed up here, or there's kids starving there. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's kind of mad, in a sense, where you look at that and you're thinking, that's effed, and what are people doing? They're just going to repost it, or they're just going to...
Exactly.
You're not going to, like... For me, personally, if I see something like that, my first instinct would be, okay, like, what's a charity that would help that, or something? Or what's something that you can do directly that's going to help those people, instead of just, like... Because now what people do, they see, like, BLM, like, they just change their thing to black screen or something. It's like, you're not really doing nothing for the people. What, you're going to protest? That's something. You're out there actually putting your energy to use. Because I think a lot of people just feel pressured. That's another thing linked to social media as well. Pressure. We're all pressured to be a certain way. Like, if this happened, this scandal happened, or this happened, everyone has to repost, or everyone has to share it. You look like a bad person or something. So I wouldn't say a single thing. I'll just say social media as a whole can be used, and it could put a lot of anxiety and stress on the youth.
100%, 150%. And it's good you mentioned the genocides that are still happening in the world, the kids still starving. Sometimes when I look at stuff like that, I think to myself, this is still happening in the 21st, like in 2022. We're still at this when people are going to Mars. Like,
Are they going to Mars?
where they going to? They're going to space or Mars? Where they going? I know there's 2 billionaires that went to space. So, you know, people are using their money to, you know, leave the planet. literally leave the planet. When there's kids that are still like hungry. Like, I don't understand. And yet we were talking about CO2 emissions and what the, like, to me, it's mind-baffling. But what would you say is a positive of social media that you've experienced?
I would say how you came across me is a positive thing.
Yeah.
It's not just me, obviously. There's other people as well,
Yeah.
but we all use our personal experiences to help others younger or same age as us.
Yeah.
Just putting...
Or even older.
Yeah, well, I never ever did it with that intention. I just did it because that's just my thought process. I like to express my thoughts and just put my things out there.
Yeah.
And apparently help people. I was like, oh, shit, I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
So that's how that came about. And then when people actually tell you, like, you've helped change my life, or they've done a massive change because of something you said, like, it impacts you a lot on a deeper level, and it just makes you want to do it more. So, and there's a lot of people doing that. There's a lot of people having their own, like, perspectives on life and helping people in certain situations. And yeah, man, I never thought that would even be a thing, because I'll be real, like, when you're from certain places or certain cultures, you can't just go to your family. Like, sometimes a stranger is the best person to talk to. So
Yeah, 100%. And how long have you been, so do you want to discuss what you do on social media?
I just be myself, you know. You don't know that. You don't know. I just be myself.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean referring to that, though. Like, just kind of advice and stuff like that. Like, a few years, you know, like, a few years.
How old were you when you started?
Expressing myself, just being myself. I've always done that since I had, like, Snapchat. Was like,
Yeah, but
when did that come out? Like 2013,
Like,
14.
recently, I'd say.
No. When did Snapchat start? When did Snapchat come out?
I was in
It's been
secondary
quite
school.
recent, so
I was
Is
like-
Snapchat
it must
quite
have been-
recent?
Yeah,
I think it was 2014. So I was
2014.
so I was
Snapchat
13 years
started.
old.
Oh.
But when I really started
Let's
to,
Google that. When did Snapchat come out?
I think it was 2014. You know, but.
Oh.
I probably started expressing myself properly, like, thoughts, because you mature in it. So 16ish, and obviously, I'm 20 now, so it's been about 4 years, come to 5.
Let's Google. When was Snapchat created? Okay, the 8th of July 2011.
Is it 11?
2011.
That's crazy.
That's exactly the date. 8th of July 2011. Well, that says create. So when was it actually released then?
Yeah,
When
because
was
I don't remember, like, ever seeing
Yeah,
Snapchat.
8th of July 2011. So,
2011.
but you started using it from 2014, right? That's when
Yeah, that's when I first had it, like, because
Yeah.
all your friends had it, innit? But
Yeah, that's when it was becoming more mainstream.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I heard about Snapchat through Emmanuel. Yeah, it was. I remember it's so funny. Emmanuel was coming back from uni. We just happened to bump each other on the underground, and he was like, "Oh yeah, have you heard about this new app? Yeah, you post stuff, yeah, and after 24 hours it gets deleted." How he was saying it, how he sounded. He was like, yeah, you post stuff, yeah, me and my boys are on this group chat, yeah, 24 hours it gets deleted. And I was thinking to myself, what is this app? And literally, that's how I heard of it, like, literally. That was what, uni days. So yeah, 2014, 2013 was one of those times that I started using that app as well. So you started getting serious on Snapchat 2014, 2013, and what were you posting back then?
that was just me. That was just normal stuff, innit? Like
What's normal stuff though?
like when you're a youth, man, you're just
Yeah.
chilling
So
with your
when you're
friends.
emotional, you're posting like, I'm emotional today.
Nah.
Like quotes and stuff.
Whatever you do, like if
Yeah.
you're going somewhere or you just cool. So whatever some
Yeah.
dumb shit you're doing when you're like 14, 15 years old.
So
But
how did you, because I found you because someone reposted you, and I was going through your Snap and I was like, "Rah, this guy's speaking a lot of sense." And I was even, one thing I was surprised about is when I was like talking to you and you told me your age, I was like, "Rah, like I would have never guessed because you come across so mature. Like your age and your maturity level was I just wouldn't have never guessed that you were early 20 because the things you were talking about were so relatable. They made me laugh, and you just speak your mind basically,
Yeah,
and
basically.
you just put it out there. But it's even the way you structure because you write paragraphs, like
Yeah.
even the way you structure your sentences and the things that I'm like that as well. Like I like people that are a bit nerdish, like that use the grammar correctly. You use
The
your
punctuation.
I love English. I love English in school. So
What?
I love English in school.
Yeah, and then I can tell, like even the content, the way you lay your content is not just there's no even the way you write your slang. You even say for context, like you actually you go into not only do you go into depth when you're writing your paragraphs, but even with the slang word, you like, for those of you that don't understand, this word means this, and I'm just like, you actually break it down. And to me, I've never found a male content creator that could really relate to like that. Like you just, to me, you come across as a free-minded person, and that's why I clicked with you. And straight away, I just had to get in contact with you and see what you were about, and then invite you onto the podcast. But yeah, like seriously, what about you, Karen? What are some of the negatives that you've experienced on social media, and what has been positive as well? We'll start with the negative.
Negative. I guess it's just the same thing Abid said, really. Just,
with the war things and
literally.
the things.
We're the same age. We're seeing the same stuff.
But a positive, businesses thriving, especially black businesses.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
That's something I really love to see.
Yeah, finding out about different businesses and finding about different black-owned businesses. Because that's really good. That's a good one. I think that's a really good positive. With me, like, I think anything related to like kids and murder and even the whole people still getting stabbed. I just don't understand. Till this day, I'm just like, wow, this is still happening. People are still using something that you use in your kitchen to cook with to put into another person's organs, and the person's going just like that. To me, I don't think I can ever get over how much of a loss of a life that is. Like, so every time I hear on on social media that such person's been stabbed, like even the Pop Smoke thing, oh gosh.
Yeah,
to me,
crazy.
That was crazy to me, because do you know why it was so crazy? Because it went from people everywhere, talking about woo and listening to his music was getting hyped, him on the come up, to hearing, did he get stabbed or shot? Which one was it?
Shot.
Yeah. It's America, isn't
To
it?
hearing that this young guy just got shot. And it was even the response as well, like, on social media, like, some people were playing his music. It to me, was just crazy, like, thinking, what world are we living in? Like, someone's on the come up. And even that artist that you lot was talking about, I've never heard of him. The one that,
Shoki,
the one that got stabbed at a party, like, what loss of a life. That person was gonna change the whole generation's life. Like, what music can do. It can change your whole family's life, your whole generation. That's it. And just like that, you're gone. So things like that, to me, when I hear stuff like that on social media, to me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm ready to log off. That's enough for me, boy. I want to log off. And obviously, the positives with me is meeting people like Abid.
Yeah, definitely.
Socialising with people, like-minded people, like what you said as well, getting to knowing about other black businesses and what other communities are doing as well. Like, it's amazing. I've met some amazing people on social media. I've even, been in different groups that I've met. I've even found events that I've gone to was through social media. Different. I remember because I was the first person in my friendship group to have a child. I found that really hard because I don't think my friends could relate to me anymore. Because obviously it was just like, oh, she's a mother now, and obviously they're all doing their own things. That it's not just motherhood. There's obviously everyone's doing their own thing. Everyone's busy. So it was social media that helped me navigate through that. My first experience of motherhood, like meeting mums from other areas and going to different motherhood events, and I felt kind of like seen. I felt like, okay, so I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one that's a young mother that still kind of career driven, still wants to do her own thing, but at the same time wants to be an exceptional mother, still wants to do things. So yeah.
So you're saying like find community and networking and that, yeah?
Yeah, finding your community and networking has been the biggest assets for me on social media. Like, amazing. We have one last question. and we're gonna wrap this up. Okay, last question. What would you tell the next generation? This podcast is gonna be released in 2022, so you can have someone. Maybe in 10 years' time you'll be a mother. Maybe in 10 years' time you'll be a father. God willing. So, what would you tell the generation after, like someone that's listening to this in 2032?
That's such a mad question. 'Cause there's just so many things you could like just answer that with. So
The first that comes to mind.
oh man, I don't know, because I'm thinking to myself what was key for me, but I don't know, because you know what it is. I'm a deep thinker in it, so I'm thinking, how's the landscape going to change in 10 years' time?
Okay, so think about it this way, yeah. 10 years ago, 2012, what were you doing, and what would you have wished someone told you 10 years ago? So 10 years ago, you'd have been 10. What do you think? What would have helped you, shaped you to this part of your life now?
I think when you're a 10-year-old boy, you need role models. You need positive role models.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Especially if you're coming from a dysfunctional family, positive male role model there for you. You need to find someone that's good, that's going to guide you properly. Because and the thing is, it's hard to tell a 10-year-old that, like, what are they going to do? How do they know what to find? So I would say choose your friends carefully.
Choose your friend carefully.
Also, listen to your elders, because a lot of the time we dismiss our elders. Like, we're kids though, innit? I'll be honest. So you're naturally kind of in a rebellious mindset when you're young.
Yep.
So but take into consideration what they say, because a lot of time they're right, and then you're just like an idiot afterwards anyway. And also just don't let other people do your thinking for you.
Yeah.
I would say I think, because it doesn't even matter, family, friends, everyone's trying to push you in a direction. Like, especially when you're in school, your teacher's telling you. I remember even when I was leaving secondary school, like my assistant principal, she gave me a hug. She was like, "Oh, Abid, why you got good grades? Okay, so A-levels next, then uni, then a job." And I'm like, "Why are you planning out my whole life for me for? Like, what's going on?" I didn't like that, how they just told me this is where I'm going. And if obviously I'm lucky, my family, my mum didn't pressure me to go a certain way. She was like, "You can do whatever you want to do."
Yeah.
But it could be friends, it could be teachers, it could be anyone, but they're all trying to tell you what's best for you. But sometimes you just have to listen to yourself,
Listen to yourself. So we got 3 points there. We got, the first one was be careful who you hang
your
around
friends,
with.
your friends,
Be careful of your friends. The second point was, what was it? But what was the second point?
I can't remember,
Oh,
I was getting lost in the conversation.
Okay, so the first one was choose your friends carefully.
I was saying listen to your elders.
Listen to your elders, which is a key one. Yeah. Listen to your elders. And the third point was
your own
listen
thing.
to yourself.
Be your own thing.
Yeah,
be your
listen
own
to
thing.
yourself.
Listen to yourself.
Yeah.
What about you, Kerry?
I'm trying to think.
Because you're a girl, it's different for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can always say next if you can pass on. I can pass on the question.
Protect your energy.
Protect your energy. That's a good one.
Protect your energy.
I love that. That reminds me of one of my favourite songs. What's that artist? Lloyd, one of your Lloyd song. Protect your energy. What's that song? What's that? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
No, you don't. The Gambian guy. What's his name?
Do I look like someone that listens to Gambian?
That's the one. Passaloo.
Yeah, Passaloo.
That's actually one of my son is actually the reason why I like that song. Every time he used to play on, he's like, "Mummy, protect your energy," and I'm like, "Does this guy even know what he's saying?" He was doing. A man's 3 years old telling me to protect my energy. I was like, "What's with that?" So I really like that. So with me, I would say I love listening to your elders. To me, because like I said, I was mainly influenced by me at the age of 10. And like I said, the reason I am the way that I am today, and the reason why I'm very confident in the woman that I am, and I'm very affirmed with who I am, I'm very assertive with the woman I am, and I'm very unapologetically me, is because I saw my mom do it. I saw an elder shape who I am and shape me into the woman that I am today. So to me, listening and looking at positive role models and deciding, do you know what? That person's done that. I want to do something similar, or I want to do something different.
Now, I wanted to refine my answer real quick.
Yeah,
because I said listen to your elders, but sometimes, now that I think about it, growing up, I had some elders that were talking some crap, I was like, they were just talking like absolute rubbish. So I want to say, like, if there's elders out there giving you free positive advice, take that. Don't just take any advice.
Yeah, so elders that are giving positive advice and actually walking the walk as well.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Be an example.
There's elders that will tell you what to do, but when you look into the life, they'll be like, auntie, are you actually... Like, you know the auntie that always tells you that you've put on weight and she's actually fat herself? My man, guy, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You're telling me that I'm fat, but you're fatter than me. And what's wrong with you?
That's
like, be a good example. Like, you can't be out here be going, oh, you're putting on weight. Be careful. What's wrong with you? But you as well, you're putting on... I'm putting on weight, you're putting on weight. So we're both the same, but who's winning here? And you want to tell me what to do? Like,
so hypocrisy, isn't it?
Hypocrisy. There's so much... So I would say... Listen to positive role models. What do you think of that? Yeah? Listen to positive role models. So yeah, we'll end as that. This has been Keeping It Real with Goodness LA and Co.
Ft.Abid Karim, by the way.
And our special guest.
Abid, thank you for having me.
Link yourself. Link your... can they find you on social? So I know your other pages are private, so don't talk about the private one. Talk about the one that they can find your thoughts.
I'm only on Snap, to be honest.
Yeah, what's your Snap name?
So that's Man Like Abid. Just one word.
Man Like Abid on Snapchat, guys. Just add him on Snapchat, listen to his thoughts. And yeah, this has been it. See you next time.